everyone. Good day to another My Life Without Limit episode. Welcome to My Life Without Limit episode. This is Carlos, your co-host, and I have my co-host here, Leah, which she just came back from vacation.
I did.
A really nice vacation, Miss Leah.
I
That
did.
you didn't take me, but that's okay.
No, I'm
You
sorry.
you deserve a nice vacation. In Florida, right? Is that
Yeah,
correct? Where
went
you
to
went to?
Disney World and
Went,
Universal. Yep.
went to Disney World and have fun, nice weather. Went to visit
Yep.
Mickey Mouse and
Yep.
all the different characters, right? That are
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time. It's fun taking, even though my daughter's 13, it's still fun. She still loves it, seeing
my
the princesses and all the characters. And I saw so many families there with like strollers and all these little kids. And I'm like, no, I think I'm glad that we waited until she was older.
my mom is obviously she's older than me, right? But
Mhm.
she said that every time she goes to Disney, she becomes a child. So
Yes.
so that's no worries. It's fun to
Yeah.
see
It's hard
different.
not to, for
It's
sure.
hard not to become a child. It doesn't matter how
Yeah.
old you are when you're in Disney. It's a magical place that they call it. So
Yes,
very very,
exactly.
very glad you had fun. Fun. The pictures looks very fun.
I
Uh,
took a lot, yeah.
Otherwise, how you doing? How do you feel coming back? Good.
Good. Yeah, no, we were actually glad to come back because it wasn't a relaxing vacation. It was 20,000 steps a day in the hot, hot sun. So we were exhausted by the time it was done. So we actually weren't sad to come back.
That's good. That's,
But it
that's
was good, but it was a lot.
I'm very happy that you enjoyed it, and like I said,
Hmm.
really nice pictures look like. So that's
Thank you.
awesome. But anyways, we have a really amazing guest today. That
Hmm.
once again you were able to connect, and uh, and it sounds like he does amazing things. It looks like
Hmm.
his website. I was really looking at his website. We were both
Yeah.
enjoying it very much. So
Yep.
please feel free to introduce him to our guest and yeah, because it sounds like he's a really amazing guest that we're having today. So
Yep, absolutely. We have Vinay here, and he's my new friend. And I think we connected months ago. It's been a while. And I remember just getting his website about his app in my inbox and was like, this is really good. So we are excited to have you here to talk about your project called Goodself. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, you guys. Really appreciate it. Grateful to be on here, and thanks for just having a chat about what we're doing.
Yeah, well, it's good. It's great stuff. It's the healthy social media, which is that's what I like about it, is that you're trying to take, because I do social media, I'm always offended when people are like, oh, social media is not good for you. And I'm like, but it can be, and this is proof that it can be good for you. So could you just maybe let everybody know a little bit about yourself and how you got to be where you are today?
mhm.
Sure. No, so thank you for that, and again, thanks for having me.
Welcome,
Mhm.
So
welcome.
what I've I was running businesses for about like 20 years, and
Mhm.
and family businesses, and then I ran a tech startup for 10 years prior to this, and it was all product based stuff. I'm very grateful to have done it,
Yeah.
but it was a bunch of product based stuff, and we were fortunate to sell the last one to a firm in Japan in 2019. And I took a year off, and I just knew that the next thing I do in my journey in business would has to be mission based, purpose based, something meaningful, something that means something to me, and ideally something in the health and wellness space. And where really everything really started was 5 6 years ago. She's okay now, but my mom had a mild heart attack, and so she's fully okay now. But
Mhm.
when she left the hospital, it was really, there was a challenge around finding the right community of people around her that have already gone
Mhm.
through what she's gone through.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
and it would make things so much easier for her to reinsert herself back into community if she could meet people that have dealt with that already, that are
Yeah.
1 month, 2 months, 6 months ahead of her in that way, and could guide her to the right practitioners, guide her to the right community, guide her to the right people and the right resources. And I can see that. I didn't find that anywhere. And then there's social
Mhm.
media, but there's a lot on social media. There's a lot of great things on social media, and then there's some challenges on social media, and it's very intimidating for people. And that's one of the top ways people consume their health content is social media,
Yeah.
fortunately and unfortunately. And so kind of had the nugget back then of like, there's got to be something around health and wellness. There's got to be a community. And it's got to be easy for people to find, and finding the right resources, finding the right experts. And I kind of tucked that away several years ago. But then when I was done with the previous business and I took a year off, I was thinking of things in the health and wellness space, and came upon this in early 21. I came upon this as an idea of, and we've been at this for just over 2 years. We've recently launched as a free app. And what the platform is, as you said it, and thank you for saying it, it's a health only social media platform.
Yeah.
And so it's, we were kind of talking about nowadays a little bit, it's masterclass and Facebook groups and Instagram meets health and wellness.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what it is it's a social media platform built from the ground up. So it's got all the inner workings of other social media platforms: followers, following, sharing, commenting, DMing, posting, a feed, except only health and wellness content. That's all that gets consumed. That's all that gets produced. And our feed, if you picture Instagram, their feed is made up of pictures and videos.
Yeah.
Our feed is made up of 4 components: interactive audio chats, pictures and videos like Instagram, and thoughts like Twitter. Or X, all in one feed, except only vetted health professionals, vetted health experts are the only ones allowed hosting a talk.
Oh,
And the
okay.
reason we do that is more relevancy, more credibility, less misinformation, less noise, less clutter. And there's great non-experts that run talks. We just said, what the point of delineation should be: if you're a credentialed health expert, you're able to run talks. If not, you're able to post content in the feed. So regular users like myself can post pictures, videos, and thoughts about their health journey, about what they're dealing with. And experts are posting about their expertise, but again, they're the only ones that can host the talks.
Yeah.
We've
I
also
love that.
and
I
that's
love that. Because on
I think
Facebook, you go to these groups on Facebook, but you don't know what's reliable and trustworthy. And there's so much misinformation. I just saw one to do with, somebody who was suing McDonald's for what they put in their burgers. And everybody's like, oh my God, this is so gross. But then at the bottom, it said, this is not true. It just proves that you're reading something and automatically, like you form that decision about it, like before reading the whole thing, So I like that you've got some trustworthy information.
I think that's the thing, right? And so it's like, we've talked to hundreds of experts over the last couple of years as we're developing this, because we're developing this in conjunction with just dealing with hundreds of experts of what they're looking for, hundreds of users of what they're looking for, and what makes sense. So we're trying to disrupt the space, and we're trying to bring the right credibility to it, that, this will never be a platform for billions of people, but there's tens of millions of people out there that want a safe, supportive community where it's easy to find the right experts, the right information, and the right users that are dealing with similar challenges. Where you can find, it's easy to find what you're dealing with and the community around you to help support with what you're dealing with.
And Vinay, is it this experts are from all over the world, or are they only for a specific side of the world, like the US, Canada? How is it these experts? Where are they coming from?
The global, no, it's a great question. So it's global. So it's anyone and everyone that, and so we kind of have, about 30-ish categories that people can apply to. And every category has its own set of credentials, minimum credentials that you apply to. So it's, we have a whole team that's reviewing all the expert applications so that you have the minimum credentials to be an expert in that area. And you're providing your website, your social media, your experience, your education, and we're vetting you, and multiple people are vetting you to make sure that you are who you say you are and you're credentialed in that space. And to be able to talk about mental health or cardiology or pediatrics or whatever it may be. And so, but anywhere and everywhere, we want to allow, the goal is that if this works, and as we're working towards it, this will help millions of people globally.
Yeah.
And we've talked to doctors and users and practitioners, multiple countries globally, and they're all, the feedback we constantly get is they've never seen something like this before. They
Yeah.
get talked about various platforms all the time, and they're like, no one's ever kind of taken all the best elements of social media, which is again how most people consume their health content, but adding a layer of credibility to it so that it brings the right audience here, it brings the right set of experts here, and a platform that they can trust. So people will still use Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and Facebook, as they should. They're very popular platforms. They're useful, they're entertaining. But when it comes to health and wellness, that wasn't the goal of how they made it. That wasn't the germination, the foundation of what why they were thinking about building it. And so that's what we're focused on. We're focused on it. So every post has a reference link. So if you're saying something, well, what's the proof about that claim that you're saying something? All experts are highlighted differently from non-experts. There's a bunch of different things that we have that just make it very clear. When you come on here, you know who is who, experts and non-experts. What's the right content? What's the right reference link? What's the right proof? And that's what we've taken in mind to do that. While we've also recently added groups and challenges. So like a Facebook group, if you will, but there's a feed and you can have reference links and you can talk about groups on different conditions or different challenges that people are dealing with. And there's challenges inside of it. So a 7-day detox, a 30-day fitness challenge, a 60-day, gratitude journal challenge, whatever it may be. So we've kind of built this whole ecosystem now of health and wellness, where it's groups are at the center, vetted expert talks, a healthy feed, healthy challenges, all to help people want to be more engaged around their health with a like-minded community and trusted experts. And as they get more engaged, now they're more educated, they're more compliant, they're more endearing as it comes to their health. And the hope is that over time, these outcomes of theirs that they're working through are meant to improve because they're more educated, because they're more compliant with experts and with the community.
That sounds awesome. That sounds very cool.
I help admin a Facebook group called Cerebral Palsy Worldwide. And I mean, there's 17,000 people out there. There's a lot, and there's only really 100 or so that are active. But I can tell you that we get probably 200 requests a day, and probably 90 of them are spam. And I can usually tell because it'll say they just joined Facebook 2 weeks ago. It's like, I don't let anybody join unless they've had Facebook for at least 5 years.
Sure.
And I go through their profiles and I'm like, no, this isn't real. But so it's like weeding all of them out. But I like how for you guys, like you've got it, you weed them out. You've got, the real people. I mean, there are lots of people from all over the world that post things, but you don't know, like, you just don't know what's real. So I like
don't,
that.
right? And so many people are like, they've kind of made their Facebook groups private, not because they want to make it private, but they've made it private because they're like, well, just the noise and the clutter and the trolls and all that, we want to keep that out. And you can't control things, right, that you want to control. So it's like, the algorithm works a certain way and privacy works a certain way. And so, not to knock it, what they've built up over 25 years is brilliant. Of course it is. And it's incredibly useful globally. It's just, there's nuances around health related groups that people have challenges with on that platform. And so it's like, look, what we provide is that whole ecosystem where you don't have to be don't have to be worried when you're joining a group here. And the kind of people that are on a platform like this, who's an expert, who's not an expert. There's phone number authentication, so it's a real person. There's just a lot of things that we've taken carefully over the last 2+ years to build up the right way. It's an app right now. We're going to have a desktop version of this within a couple months. There's a lot that's coming out with this that just a lot of people are very excited about as we're now really launching this out.
So how are you promoting if you don't mind me asking, like, are you having any conflict with the promotion? Like, do you promote it on Instagram, the app, or do you promote it on yourself within groups? How is it that you promote it? Just for me to understand a little bit, how is your community been growing in a way of promotion, in a way?
Great question, right? And so, given that we're just launching this out with a full solution, like we soft launched months ago, but with a full solution, we're launching it out now. It's We're going to be rolling out ads very shortly. We're going to be rolling out PR very shortly. It's a lot of right now, the experts that are coming on board, they want to market this to their audience.
Yeah.
So they're actively marketing this because they don't see this as another brand. They see this as a very, very, very important, valuable channel for them to reach their patients, their users, their community, and to what they really wanted to do was to help people and educate people along their health journey. They're like, this is a very focused set of people that have a very high value around health and wellness. And that's what they want to target on a platform like this. So they're actually marketing this through their email list, through their podcast, through their social media, so multiple times to let them know that they're running a group here. They're running their weekly talks here. They have a challenge going on here. They've posted some interesting information on here. And now we have multiple experts that are continuously, going to start doing that. I guess, again, along with the ads, along with PR, and along with, we're going to be eventually going and tying up with corporate wellness programs and organizations that want to host their platforms on a platform like ours, the patient advocate groups, the condition-based groups, and then fitness manufacturers, fitness brands, health brands, where they don't have much of a community outside of other social media, which is not aligned with their brand and their values. And they're looking for the right safe space that actually aligns with their brand, which is exactly what we are. And so we've talked to countless organizations, and they're all like, as this launches and as you're building up the set of experts, we want to be part of this. We want to bring our base here. We want to shift our community over here because this is completely in line with our values and our mission and our brand, a health-only social media platform with the right trusted experts and credibility.
That's all.
Yeah. And I could see something like benefiting an organization like ours because we struggle with Facebook groups. Like we have, support groups. The parent one is okay. People will ask questions and engage. But I tried for like our clients to create we even started an app as well that we had for a couple of years. And I couldn't get anybody. Nobody will say anything. It was me. I was basically talking to myself, even though we had all these members. But I feel like with something like what you're doing, I would be more confident posting things on there because the people that are there want that information. They want to engage in this. So I think that that's like another bonus about it.
It's a filtered community, right? Like it's a filtered community of people that value health, right? Not everyone and anyone is downloading this app. Now, when you look at the other platforms, wildly popular and the huge meaning globally for a lot of people for a variety of things, but to follow a group or follow someone on the other social media platforms, it's a click. It's very, very simple, right? There's no real buy-in to do that. There's nothing really you have to do to join these things, and there's no real commitment here. You gotta register and download a separate platform, right? A separate app, and then over time it'll be desktop as well. And so it's like it takes some time to be like, it makes that decision to be, do I want to be part of this community? And, more and more, we know over time what's going to end up happening is people are like, if they value health and wellness, they have to be on this platform. If that's important to them, they want to be part of this community. And that's just been the sense and the sentiment from people globally that we've talked to. I was in India several months ago for a few weeks. And we talked to so many people there and practitioners and doctors and users and patients, and they've never seen a platform like this, where this could help in a variety of ways, in a variety of areas, as it is with pregnancy and mental health and kids' ADHD and a bunch of areas where they're just like, we struggle with finding the right credible information. And we struggle as organizations promoting the right platforms to go to, because we just don't know what the right information is. And the ones that we can promote are the other social medias where we just don't know what's said there. And we're just not confident of it, but that's where everyone wants to go. Now we're confident that we can drive into a community where we know the information by and large, it's trusted information. It's got resources around it. It's got reference links. It's got vetted experts, and there's a vetting process. Nothing's perfect, but they're like, this is a big step in the right direction to get the right audience, to get the right experts, to get the right community going and helping hopefully millions.
Yeah. And I can confidently say that through the Cerebral Palsy Worldwide group, most of the health professionals that are sharing their tips and what they do come from countries like India or the Philippines. And they want to desperately be sharing what they're doing and
Sure.
research that's happening and the therapies that they're doing with kids. They post videos of here's what you can do. And it's like, yeah, they are out there really wanting to share this information. Yeah.
No, I think there's just such a, I think that's been the unfortunate and the fortunate part of going down this journey is that there's such a thirst for credible information.
Yeah.
There's such a strong need for credible information and credible communities. And no, violence or bullying or threats, and trying to find like-minded people that you can be open and honest about what you're dealing with from a health standpoint. And I think it's just hard to find those communities. And I think where we also differentiate ourselves is that it's across everything. So there's some beautiful communities out there that are on one vertical, on one area, on one condition, and they're doing great things to help people.
Yeah.
I think what's important here is that we want to just make it easy for people to come to one place. When they come to one place, they can find the right experts and right communities and right people across dozens of areas that matter to them. And so it just, again, it's meant to help. Everything is meant to help people engage more with their health and make it easier to engage with their health, then become more compliant and more adherent around their health and wellness, while at the same time helping others that are dealing with similar challenges. And then it just gets people healthier. That knowledge then breeds people to just be healthier and be more compliant around that world.
Yes. Yeah. So like Carlos has cerebral palsy. So how would someone like him use the app? Would he go on there to share his stories and his journey, or would he be going on there to seek out information? Like if he's thinking, how can I help myself as I get older? So how would someone like Carlos use the platform?
It's registering and coming on. There's you can register as a user or an expert, and so you're coming on as a user, and you're putting in your preferences around kind of the information that you want to see, the kind of information you want to follow, and then you're kind of shown, groups that kind of matter to you, that would be relevant to you, and other experts that would be relevant to you, and your feed is information that's relevant to the topics that you've picked. And there's groups that are relevant to you. And as we're growing, again, we just recently launched, but we've talked to hundreds of experts, so we know many experts are joining shortly along this platform. And so as we're building up, it's more and more experts that you're able to follow, more and more groups you're able to follow, more and more talks you're able to follow, and more challenges you're able to follow. And now you're able to it's not alone, you're following with other people as well, and you're discovering new experts and groups and talks. And so it's really just, again, you're going to use other platforms. Of course, you're going to use Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and YouTube, and they're entertaining, and you're going to also find some great health information on there, of course. This is something that's kind of meant to be part of someone's day as well, that they can come and join that 10-minute talk on migraines. They can join that 5-minute talk on fibromyalgia. They can join this group around the keto diet, or on this or on that, whatever it makes sense that speaks to them, that's relevant to them. That's what it's been built as.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I discovered all of this chatter on TikTok about magnesium, and people are just like, oh my God, you have to try this. This is what it did. And when I was like, oh, I got interested in it, and I did. I went onto your app, and I was like, oh, I can follow. There are things about magnesium on there and information that you can get. And then it was like, okay, I'm just going to go confirm over here on Goodself to make sure that the information I'm hearing from everybody is reliable. And yeah, I was able to come across a lot of great videos of experts talking about the benefits of magnesium. So it's like, it was just nice to have that, to be able to say,
and thank you for saying that. No, thank you for saying that. Right. And it's taken some time, right? Like, it's like, we've been at it for a couple of years to really build this the right way, and build this not like in a vacuum, but build this by talking to people like you and talking to hundreds of experts globally about what is it that they want to see, what are their trials and tribulations with what they deal with, and talking to doctors in hospitals, and talking to practitioners, and talking to coaches, and talking to trainers and dietitians and oncologists, and everyone across the board about what are the challenges that you deal with on a day-to-day basis as you're dealing with the community and your patients and your clients and whatnot, and what are the challenges that they bring up constantly. And so a lot of people are like, we just don't know where to drive them to. We're not comfortable with where we have to take them to, in many cases, but we kind of have to tell them there because there's no other alternative. And we want to build a community, but we don't want to build it on the existing platforms. We want to build a health-only community where we can trust what's out there. And so we've shied away from building a community, which we know can help a ton of clients and patients. We've shied away from it because we're not comfortable with it. And so many, and a lot of experts now, again and again, almost every day, we're talking to people where they're like, we've never done social media before because we were never comfortable with it. We didn't want to put our practice on social media. We didn't want to put our credentials on social media. But now we would finally trust this one. This one makes sense because it's related to exactly what we believe in, really steer towards. And so it's just, it's heartwarming to hear it every day, how a lot of people feel this can help their community, their patients, their peers, or loved ones that they know that really could help and get a lot of great information from here and get that kind of hand-holding that they need to really get better. And so that's the goal. It's a big ambition that we're trying to do, and it's tough, but I think we're just kind of keeping the focus on like, what's the mission? And the mission is that like, just this can help millions of people globally, because this is one of the top ways people consume content. And we really want to fight misinformation, and we want them to feel safe when they're on a platform. And our bet is that there's tens of millions of people globally that also want that. And so that's what we're building towards, and working to scale.
No, I think that that's great. And I mean, I would love to see, like here in Alberta, well, across Canada, we have free healthcare. We're very lucky to have free healthcare, but sometimes that can come with things like long wait times to go talk to somebody or a specialist. Like there's just so much. And it would be really cool for an organization like Alberta Health Services, when they call and say, we hear you're looking to talk to somebody about your mental health, but it's going to take about a month to get your appointment. It would be so cool if they could say, in the meantime, download this app and get some information to help you, maintain and manage,
navigate for now.
I think that would be really cool for them to say that here is something, because otherwise you're waiting a month, and if you're in a bad place, having just something out there to say, here's something you can do, to help, and you can just, again, know that it's trustworthy.
And mostly with the mental health issue, there's a lot of people right now with dealing with mental health and dealing with health in general, right? Where people need some kind of like a quick access on some information, right? And this platform, the one that you created, Vinay, is easy. Well, not easy. It's accessible for people to reach out in an easier way than waiting for a doctor itself or a person itself to go and get that information sometimes, right? So.
I think, and thanks for saying that, right? And first off, absolutely, it's definitely not me. It's a team of people that have built this up and have been followed this vision. And so, we're a team of just under 20 in Toronto, and it's been just a labor of love of a lot of people to really just be at this. And I think it's just tough for people to drive people towards trusted areas. And, when we've talked to a lot of practitioners and hospitals and whatnot, they're like, look, we would love to have a group where we can also save time in our own practice, because as much as we want to help as many people as possible, we're limited with time. And so we're only able to spend so much time. So if we want to walk people through, physical activity and the benefits of it, and mental health and smoking cessation and nutrition and whatnot, it's hard for us to properly manage and talk about all that. Well, if we could talk to the community at large once for half an hour a week and do that multiple times, we could help a lot more people and spend time and address their questions and answers. And if we had a group that we trusted, could we just be a lot more careful around these things and mindful around it and address people's concerns? And there's just a lot of people, and then the community, exactly as you run, as you're part of that, the Cerebral Palsy group, it's like the community then, by and large, then shares experiences and shares resources.
Yeah.
And they help each other. And I mean, it's just, health has a profound effect when there's a community of people that you can find that are dealing with similar challenges. It makes such a big difference. I don't want to say especially mental health, but absolutely with mental health. If you can find other people that are dealing with similar challenges, it just truly makes you feel that you're not alone. And now, if you're able to find the right trusted people that you've gotten to know a little bit, and other people have gotten to know a little bit, and they're like, that person's really good, and that person has some great information around X, Y, and Z, it just makes you feel less lost as you're trying to navigate. And, in places where we're privileged with what we have, think about places that are not privileged with the situations of life that they have, completely lost and don't have the access to the things that we take for granted. Well, this is what this is meant to help. This is what this is meant to provide globally. And we know, knock on wood, we hope that we're onto something really great and something meaningful that can really help millions of people. We're just trying to put all the pieces together now to really make this thing really blow up and do really, really well. And blow up and do really, really well means it helps millions of people. And so we're trying to put the pieces together to make that to work.
Yeah.
What are they, like, I know you recently started, like you don't have many years yet. You will have many, many more years, but what are the challenges that you see, like the biggest challenge that you see with this app, or with this
that's a great question. What we've built is a two-sided network, right? So, if you kind of think about an Airbnb, well, Airbnb doesn't have much chance to be an Airbnb if there's no houses or apartments to rent, right? And so users aren't coming if there's no apartments and houses to rent, and vice versa. And so, and people aren't posting anything if there's no people. And so the beginning of these networks is never easy. Is never easy. You'll hear about, the successes that come out, but there's so many out there that just, didn't make it work. And I think what we're really, really focused on is not making it gimmicky, not making it this one feature that we added that now attracts a bunch of people in a certain segment. No, this is something meant to be no gimmicks, long lasting, something global that helps people as it comes to health and wellness. And so the challenge with that is starting a network is always very tough. And we have to get the right set of experts that we trust, that are great in terms of producing content, running talks, running groups, engaging, while we're also at the same time getting the set of users. And we got to kind of match that at the same time so that the whole thing grows. So when you come here, you see a good community of users and you see a good community of experts. And so that's where we're at right now, is that we're building this up. We've had talks with hundreds of experts. We're talking to a ton of users. And we know how the marketing is going to happen. We know how the experts are going to bring the users and how we're going to bring more users. We've talked to a ton of organizations where they know that once we have that started, and once we have a set of experts on the platform, they want to bring their members, they want to bring their clients, they want to bring their employees. And so all of it putting together is a really interesting balancing act. Creating the tech absolutely was not trivial. This took us over 2 years to build it the right way, with all the feedback that we've gotten from experts on what are the right nuances and what are the right ways to do it, so their practice and it caters to making sure it's patient first, and it helps them, but it also helps the experts post content and do things the right way. And so, we've done tech very well. I'm very proud of the team that we've been able to create that. It's putting the community together. And it's a challenge with a two-sided market, but that's what we're up for, and that's what we're up against. But that's what's fun about this, is really just every day seeing these experts just loving it and wanting to come on and not really wanting to be on other platforms, but here they're like, yes, I absolutely want to be part of this, or I want to move my group here, I want to migrate this year, I want to bring my patient base here and my community here. And so it's a lot of fun to see that. And so now the next couple months or few months is just gonna be a lot of fun to see how this really grows.
That's awesome. I can see your excitement. So Hans, very excited that you're taking it
Thank
so
you.
as a fun challenge, right? So that's always a good thing, a great thing for sure.
I've done business for over 20 years, right? And so it's and I grew up in that environment. My mom was running her own business for many years, and my dad was helping in evenings and weekends as he was, very senior in finance. And then my dad also joined the business, and he was part of it, and he's part of it to this date. And so it's a lot of fun. I mean, you're going through a whole journey, and you're going to go through ups and downs. But to be honest with you, I mean, I can't imagine being anywhere else, because this is just what I love doing. And I think, like, again, if it works, it helps millions of people. And how many times in your life do you get to do something that really, really affects millions of people on any business, let alone something that's meaningful around health and wellness that can really help countless people globally, that is a problem from the hundreds of people that have gotten feedback from, that you just know that there's a lot of challenges in this world as it comes to credibility around health and wellness, and trust around health and wellness, and the right engagement and finding the right community. And if you can help solve that in some way, not fully, it's impossible to get everything right, but if you can work to really, really solve that, it can have a profound effect on countless lives. And that's what drives us. That's what drives the whole team, really.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
And I've
amazing.
also appreciated about you too, that you don't just look at, like, for us example, you, like with Cerebral Palsy Alberta, we're not just one of 100 that you're chatting with. Like, you actually send me an email to say, hey Leah, here's some things we're working on.
Yeah.
And then that way I can look at it and go, okay, here's how I can, this is great. I like what's coming up. And because we want to promote it. We want to put it out there to our everybody. And I think it's nice that you're, like, personally, saying, hey, here's what's up and coming. And I know there could come a time where it's too overwhelming for you and you've got,
Sure.
all these, but that is something that I have appreciated.
It's always been important to us, like from the beginning, right? Like, I think, like, just in having the conversations with the experts and having conversations with organizations, I mean, they just want to understand the journey and want to understand what where we're at and what we're going through, and how they can help and whatnot. And so it's just something that I feel is important to stay in touch with everybody and to let them know what's going on, especially even as we scale. It's just to let them know what's going on personally, and it's important to me to do that. And it's important to have these talks, and of course we have a team, and we have a team of people that do it as well. But I think it's very important that people feel reassured about what's going on in the journey that they're on, because it's their careers, and it's their credentials, and it's their education, it's their experience, and they're having to trust a whole new platform, and that's not easy to do. And if you're going to trust it with your experience and your reputation, you want to know that it's legit. You want to know that they have the right values and they're thinking the right way about content moderation, and just the policies that they have, and how they think about, bullying and racism and sexism, and all these policies in place, and content moderation, and just making sure that all that's there. And it's been important to us from the beginning to just be incredibly transparent on everything that we do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's very important to do that. And even we have a relationship with a platform called Genies, which is like a wish list. We put up a wish list for the organization and try to get people, to come on and donate, and say, oh, I'll buy this for you. And then it gets delivered to us. And it's really cool.
Nice.
And it's the same thing. Like, they have all these people that are using it, but they, assign somebody to say, this is the person you're going to contact. They're not just leaving us to do, like, put in a ticket, to say, we're having this issue, but they say, here's somebody that you can personally come to. And do you foresee yourself doing that too? Like, having somebody, or do you have somebody on board that, where you can do that? You can say, okay, Leah, like, I'm super busy, got lots going on, but here is somebody that you can connect with.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We have a team of people for that as well, right? So definitely, it's definitely not just me. I know I'm connecting with a lot of experts, but it's definitely not just me. And we have a team of people that are connecting with others, that are walking them through kind of onboarding on the app and addressing questions. And we have a lot of guides. We have a lot of stuff to walk people through kind of the best practices and how to come on and how to, like, how to help them on their journey as they're onboarding and coming on, and how to maximize
Yeah.
the way to actually benefit their community. And so absolutely, definitely not just me, but I definitely do, you know, a lot of the connection coordination with a lot of people, but we have a whole team supporting that.
Yeah, it'll get overwhelming for you because I know you're gonna have a lot. You're gonna have a lot.
You will have a lot for
You
sure.
will,
Thank
I
you,
think so.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, we have reached a time in this conversation. It went by so super fast.
Super,
as
super
usual. But I do look forward to putting in our show notes where people can find, you know, information about how they can join and all of that. But our one question that we do want to know from you is, do you personally, what does life without limits mean to you? And do you feel that you are living your life without limits?
You know, what does life without limits mean to me? I mean, it's a great question. And, you know, I think, like, you know, if I relate it to the business, and you said personally, but if I relate it to the business, I think just, you know, giving people accessibility globally to reliable health information.
Our favorite word, accessibility, inclusion.
And absolutely, and across borders and across income levels, it's a necessity. And you know, some people are more privileged than others to be able to have that access. And our goal is to be able to give that access globally to everyone without any limitations and without any issues about being able to get access to it. And so, and do we feel like, you know, I'm living it? Is we're trying to, we're building this up day at a time. But I'm just extremely fortunate that I have the ability and the freedom to be able to build something like this, and the support of family and friends to be able to build something like this. And not everyone does, and not everyone has the same circumstances. And so it's not a judgment on anyone. It's just, I'm just very fortunate to be able to be in the position of life where I'm able to take this massive leap to really try to make a difference. And it's a lot of fun to do, and I think it can have a profound effect globally. And so I think that's where it is.
Yeah.
I really, really like your answer, mostly when you said that you wanted to make it accessible for everyone, right? Because it's not easy when you look at accessibility for a lot of people. There's different places in the world that they don't have the access, they don't have the funds, they don't have places to or ways to have access to that. And in the way that you see your view of your life with elements within your business and personally, I think it's great that you want to have that view of accessing, having access to everybody. That's just fantastic. Really,
That's
thank you.
thank you,
Appreciate it.
thank you. That's the goal. That's the goal, and that's kind of our North Star that keeps us going on building this and working at this. And so, no, thank you for that, and thank you for the time. I really appreciate it. It's very, very generous of you guys to bring me on and to be able to have a talk around this, because it means a lot. So thank you for that.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Very
Thank you for
happy to.
coming. We're very happy, as Leah said, that you were here. I learned a lot from it. I'll definitely take a look at the app and definitely take a look at, I see here that there's a coaching section, so I might be very interested in that for sure. So I will definitely take a look at it. As Leah said, we'll definitely put your details on our notes, on our log notes, and yeah,
Thank
so
you.
very, very excited to have you. Thank you so much. For
My pleasure.
all of you listeners, thank you for listening today. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us, to take the time to listen to this episode. It's really great. Hopefully you enjoy it as much as we did. And yeah, follow up Benny and the app for sure. And we'll get to see you all soon. Make sure to follow our Instagram page as well, all of you, and give us feedback too. It's very important to receive feedback. And if you want to be a part of the podcast show, please feel to reach out to myself and Leah as well.
Yeah, don't be shy. You don't have to have a disability. You just anybody. You share your story. Everybody has a story to tell, and we want to hear it, and we want to help.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. We love to help. Thank you so much. Otherwise, Have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Make sure to live your life without limits. Take care.
See you later.
Thank you. Bye.